The Killer Growth Podcast starts now.
Hey guys, Sam McVeigh here, host of the Killer Growth Podcast, and today I have Dan Kreis, founder and owner of Circle Consulting Group. Can we just add that, please? Consulting. Okay, because it's just you.
It's just me.
Yeah. Well, I apologize. Great start. Okay. And this is like my only job on the podcast is just to nail the intro.
Okay.
And then let's get it done. You're like, I got to get on the road. Let's go, Sam.
We got people watching this thing. So come on now.
Well, we'll get it together. Buckle up. All right. Have you seen any clips from the podcast or any episodes?
Yeah. Okay. Saw a few episodes.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Good. So you know how we start. It's an easy soft serve, but I just love to hear your story of what brought you to Circle Consulting, and we'll have a conversation.
So how far back?
I like the college age, kind of like, what am I doing with my life? And then I found myself here, and now I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, college. That's a whole long ways back, but
it is.
We can do that.
How old are you, Dan?
I'll be 70 in November.
That's crazy, and you're busy. I hope I'm as active as you when I'm 70.
Yeah. College. We went to school in northeastern Colorado, high school. It was a small town called Merino, which is just outside of Sterling, which is just outside of nowhere. And,
it's hard to find nowhere.
I lived in a town that's smaller than Merino called Willard that had a stop sign.
Oh, one. They had one stop sign.
But I was outside of the town in a farmhouse.
Okay. That
was about 3 miles out of town of Willard.
Yeah.
Now, there's a story about Willard. Have you ever heard about Willard back in the day?
Mm-mm.
Willard was actually a movie about a rat.
Did it cook? Was it a chef?
It was a scary movie.
Oh.
And so
horror.
That was one of those things. So anyway,
awesome. Go check it out, everybody.
We're moving on. So I was in high school. My high school English teacher encouraged me in my ability to read and write, and was a very positive influence in my life. Because reading and writing wasn't my best thing, but I ended up being encouraged by her a lot. I ended up trying to learn more about how to read and write as a sophomore, junior, high school, senior, and that was a rough time in my life. I had ambition, and I wanted to be an engineer. Well, first of all, I wanted to be a Bible teacher. And then an engineer. I tried Bible teaching, and I got to college at John Brown University.
Oh, wow.
And I go to John Brown University as trying to be a Bible teacher, and they said you have to read. And I'm going, maybe I need to change my thing. I like math.
Yeah.
I'll be an engineer.
Yeah, you're going to be a Bible teacher. That's a big book, Dan. That's, I don't know if you've seen the Bible, but it's a big one.
Yeah, it's a really big book. And I thought, there's a whole lot more to read there. So I think I'll go to engineering. But then they did another trick on me. They said I had to be able to do algebra.
Yeah.
And that didn't work.
Got to somewhat like math to be an engineer.
So I put 2 years into college and tried to accomplish all the college stuff that I needed to do, did my best to try to be a good student and restrict my outward activities and just really buckle down and do this college thing. Eventually, my parents suggested that I quit college. That's how well
Thanks
I was
for believing
doing.
in me, Mom and Dad.
That's how well I was doing in college.
Son, this might not be for you.
So they encouraged me to do that, but before they I actually ended up dropping out of college. I decided I was going to teach some college courses. So I taught welding in college.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I thought that was quite funny that the college dropout taught a college class before he left college.
That's perfect.
So I taught welding and discovered that was an opportunity for me. And so I went into airplane mechanics.
Oh,
and became an A&P mechanic.
nice.
Went to Jefferson County in airport in Colorado and started doing my course in that. And in 18 months it was, I graduated with my A&P license.
Okay.
So I got an A&P license and I had two choices. I could work airlines, which means nights, or I could work the factory, which means days. And if I worked airlines, I wouldn't have a social life. But if I worked the factory, I could have a social life. So here comes Wichita.
Makes sense.
So I came to the aircraft capital of the world, decided I was going to work at Beechcraft. I got a job there working on demonstrator and trainer fleet. And eventually, after a couple, 3 years there at Beechcraft, discovered that my boss was going to be retiring in a position he was in as my boss. And I'm going, this sounds like a dead end. I had ambition. I was young. And I decided that I needed to do something more. So I started doing the thing that I didn't think I could do and didn't really necessarily want to do. But I started grabbing a book. And I read the book Stronger Than Steel.
Okay.
And was inspirational to me. But then I talked to my boss or to a friend of mine at church, and my friend at church said, hey, I wonder if you could work for me. And I said, sure. And he says, can you run my computers? And I said, sure. Don't know what that means, but I'll do it.
Right.
I'll do it. So I took over his computer systems, managed his mini mainframe. Back then, we had mini mainframes. We had people running on that machine, and that one was 20 people, 15 to 20 people running on one machine.
Wow.
And we had stacked it full of memory. I mean, 1 meg of memory was riding on
That was a lot then. That's crazy. That's one photo now.
Yeah. Yeah. And eventually he sold his business, and the company that bought that business decided that they didn't need me any longer. And I took my new wife and my son, and we moved to Seattle in Redmond, Washington area, and worked for a bad debt collection agency up there, running their computer system, which was a really big machine. I mean, we
Like
had
how big?
4 megs of memory and 1 gig hard drive that was as big as a chair.
Jeez.
And it was huge, and it was incredible, and it took all my time
Yeah.
to run this machine, and we had 36 users on that one machine.
Jeez. How is there 36 users on one machine?
So everybody had a dumb terminal and a
Okay.
keyboard. And that machine that processed all 36 of them hammering away at that one machine. Talk about efficiency in programming.
Yeah.
That's incredible. You couldn't do that today. That's how inefficient the computer systems are today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a crazy world. The hardware world just changed.
Yeah, dramatically.
Changed dramatically.
Thank you, Steve Jobs.
Yeah. So yeah. In fact, we were right outside of Microsoft world at the time. So we
Wow.
we spent a lot. I spent a lot of time driving past Microsoft world. So anyway, we ended up. The boss brought in his son, and his son came over, took over the company, and his son and I didn't get along. I could see the writing on the wall, and a friend of mine says, "Why don't you buy a business?" Man, I don't know, that's a crazy idea. Would be fun.
Yeah. New challenge accepted.
It'd be fun. So I eventually figured out that I could buy a business and move my family from Seattle to Wichita again and bought a ServiceMaster franchise.
What year was this?
1990.
Okay. I was born.
Oh.
That's when I came into the world.
All right.
What month? Do you remember the month?
April, May.
I was born May of 90, so
Yeah. So
I mean,
so my
our
business
worlds
and
are
you
aligning.
were born at the same
I
time.
know. There's something about that. The stars that Tyler stopped. There's something to break down here, okay? There is a God, all right? This is divine.
So yeah. So I actually started my business in 1990 and I did it with my wife doing the bookkeeping and behind the scenes stuff. And I did walking neighborhoods and knocking on doors and saying, "Let me clean your carpet."
So you just had a carpet cleaning van? Is that how it all started?
Bought an old Sears van.
Okay.
An old Sears van and put all the stuff that they gave me in that van and walked in neighborhoods and knocked on doors and said, "Can I clean your carpet?"
Wow.
And that's how I got started.
And they didn't come out with shotguns. Nowadays you do that.
Well,
and
they had
don't
all
even,
kinds of things on the wall that I claimed I couldn't read.
Well, we've already established reading was
so
difficult.
I just went ahead and knocked on the door anyway. So I knocked on the door, and there we go. I started getting it. Ended up owning some neighborhoods on the west side of town and doing some work. And some of them said, "Well, you don't have this fancy machine that fits in the back of the truck and they run hoses in the house. You have this portable thing that bring in the house." And I said, "Yeah, that machine doesn't clean your carpet. I do." So it's the guy who knows how to do it.
Yeah. So
that's
you had a
important.
portable or a truck mount system?
Portable.
Portable then. Okay.
Portable.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started doing that and eventually got enough clients that I decided I was going to hire somebody to do more of the work. And I decided to try to build a business.
When did ServiceMaster become a franchise?
1950s.
Oh, wow.
There were 5,000 franchises when I started my business. They were worldwide. And when ServiceMaster started the business, they started with a core value. Core values are a really big part of our organizations. Can you imagine setting core values in place that will last for 50 years plus, that will actually influence the world, and in fact, to the point where they actually resist the venture capitalists who took the company and tried to change the core values?
Yeah.
And the franchise system resisted and said, "No, you won't."
I feel like, if my core values make it a year, I'm pretty thrilled. There's a lot of, it's kind of a sinking ship sometimes. Find some holes in my core values pretty quickly.
Yeah, so it's very interesting.
That is cool.
Interesting how that works. So the 4 corporate objectives of the core values of the ServiceMaster business, I remember today.
Okay.
Number 1 is honor God. Number 2 is pursue excellence. Number 3 is to help people grow and develop. And number 4 is to grow profitably. 50 years.
That's crazy.
That's
There's still
crazy.
that today.
It's been changed eventually. They
Yeah.
beat up the franchisees.
Because they're publicly traded now, right?
They
They're on the
took it,
market.
they actually, venture capital took it off of public trading,
Oh, I didn't know that.
moved it to private, and now it's back.
Okay. Now it's back public again.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
I wonder how
it's
many
crazy.
locations there are now.
I don't know.
It's got to be so many.
Been a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start that, hire your first employee.
Hire my first employees, ended up hiring and firing, going up to 30 employees at eventually one time because I was doing janitorial and commercial and I was doing disaster work and did all that. And one of the franchise distributor representatives came up to me and he said, "Did you hear of Michael Gerber?" Now, Michael Gerber was actually invited to make a speech at ServiceMaster, and he'd written this book called The E-Myth. Mm-hmm. And he says that entrepreneurs don't start businesses. They are just struck with an entrepreneurial seizure. It's just a seizure.
I can unfortunately relate to that.
Sucks the life out of the person who thought they were an entrepreneur and really weren't.
Yeah.
And he goes into this whole story in Michael Gerber's story. The beauty of that is they had cassette tapes that I could listen to that actually helped me get the picture. And I'm going, I understand what he's talking about. I have lived it for 15 plus years. I need to change. And that's where a major change in who I was and what I did made a difference.
Dan, sorry, but could you scoot a little closer?
There you go.
Thank you.
Testing out our new system. Dan's only our second episode on our new layout. Drop in the comments if you like our new layout or if you want us to go back to the other one.
All right.
That was our commercial break. Back to you, Dan.
All right.
So transformed your thinking. So did this transform your ServiceMaster business?
It did, because I ended up buying and selling fair amount of franchise opportunities and bringing on partners leaving. I've gone through all that process, and there's a whole lot of stories behind all that stuff. Ended up even buying a franchise here in town in El Dorado. And so, yeah, there's a whole lot of stories behind it, but eventually what I ended up discovering is I needed to build systems and processes, procedures into my business that would actually make the business function without me.
Yeah.
Because I was actually living with my pager on my nightstand 24/7, 365 for 15 years.
A pager.
A pager.
Yeah.
And I'm at a New Year's Eve party, and I get this call, and Tippin's restaurant is running water out the front door, and it's freezing into an ice slick. And I go, everything stops, whether it's Christmas or whatever, everything stops, and I go do work. That was not where I wanted to live.
Yeah.
And so I ended up building a business that knew how to do that work without requiring me to do it all.
Isn't that kind of the premise of it? Is E-Myth the book I'm thinking of where he's like, I'm on a beach and my business is running and I'm on a beach? Is that part of his story as well?
That's sort of part of his story.
Like towards the end.
Yeah, he actually, in the years that I was doing business in the ServiceMaster world, he was actually there going through bankruptcy.
Wow.
After he'd written his book.
Crazy.
And in one of his later books, he explained what had happened.
Was that the revisit? I think it was E-Myth Revisited.
Yeah.
Is the one I read. Yeah. Okay.
And talks about his bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So very interesting. He shares it all, and I lived it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
and they go, this doesn't have to happen.
Yeah.
What if we actually had some way that a business owner could get beyond the hard knocks and the false beliefs and the wrong understandings and the lies that we believe? What if we could get beyond that? Wouldn't that be different? So that's what's inspired me to do my coaching.
Yeah.
But before I did coaching, I did consulting. And when I did the consulting, I did the travel around the country. I had clients in Florida. I had clients in Hawaii. I had clients in Canada. I had clients all over the state that I was actually helping the software company figure out how they could implement their software into different businesses' opportunities.
What was that company called?
That was called Chronicle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that company still does exist.
Yeah.
Much smaller than they happened to be at the time, but I discovered that was a way to introduce systems into the business because there were a lot of good systems that I could implement through Chronicle when I implemented it in my business. So I thought, that's great. That's awesome.
So you had sold the ServiceMaster
I actually did the consulting
while I had
my ServiceMaster business, because I had built into the systems and it was running. I'd hired a general manager. I'd hired a whole team to run the business. And it was working fairly well. My goal was to have it work well enough that somebody could buy my business and sit in my chair and just have it happen without me.
Yeah.
They just walk in and take
It's a
over.
good goal.
I did it.
Yeah. Good job.
And the guy that bought it from me still is doing it today. He did a great job. He's still working hard, being very successful in what he's doing. So it's fun to see.
That's awesome.
It's fun to see. So anyway, I also discovered something when I was doing the consulting. One of the things I discovered was that if you want to find the pain in the business, just add software.
Interesting.
Just add some software and we can find pain all over. And I'm sitting there working with a client and talking to him in his office, and his wife comes in and is screaming. It is fire. It is total fire. I said, I think I better leave. And he goes, no, you're not going anywhere.
We need a mediator.
And I'm going, oh, shoot. I need to step into this. And I did. And it was an interesting process for me to step into. I learned a lot. I grew a lot through that. And I go, there's a hope for business owners that are really struggling with their business, that they can get out of it. They can get out of this rat race. They can get out of this insane boss. I mean, have you heard of any insane bosses?
Yeah.
There's some incredibly insane bosses out there. There's a story John Acuff writes about, and he tells about his insane boss. Have you ever heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
His insane boss basically says, you have to work, you have to get this job done, you have to do this work now, and you cannot stop. And in fact, he was a writer, and he said, you have to write in all your spare minutes and time. You not only have to write in your spare time, but you have to be able to produce what you write. You have to put it into a book. You got to get this done, and you can't be taking breaks. You can't be wasting your time. I mean, just stop with the wasting of time and effort and get busy. And he did, and he worked his tail off. And he was successful. He actually sold a book, and his boss goes, yeah, just look at what could have happened if you'd have been focused. Stop your wasting your time. In fact, you went on this trip, and on the trip, you sat in the airplane and talked to the person beside you instead of working on your book. Ridiculous. Why did you waste your time? And he said, then he comes off of the plane and he gets into the car, and the car is coming back to the office, and it gets stuck in traffic. And the boss goes, what did you do while you're sitting in the car? Or of all things, you probably just sat there and wasted your time. He didn't celebrate the book that he actually had success on. He didn't even give him a cake. He didn't do anything to celebrate the success he'd already had. And he was continuing to push him and didn't really want to pay him anything. And he was, in fact, very underpaid. And he couldn't quit. The boss was demanding, and he couldn't quit. Couldn't fire the boss. You know why he couldn't quit?
I have a guess. Do you want me to guess?
Yeah.
I think he's his own boss.
Yeah. And you've actually
It sounds
experienced that.
It sounds like an internal dialogue I have with myself on a regular basis. This just turned into a therapy session. I'm sitting here. I hate me.
You're the worst boss you could ever have.
The worst boss I've ever had. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
story. So then that created a mission in you to release people from that bondage in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bondage.
And then comes the word coaching, not consulting. So is that was that epiphany with that couple where you were like, I don't want to do consulting. I want to be a coach.
Yeah.
That's
and then there was part of the epiphany. And then I was actually at a 1 million cups or one of those group meetings like that. And I was at one of those groups and somebody's presenting and I'm going, oh, what would it be like if they actually had a group of people who really cared about them, that they didn't have to pay money to, that would actually speak truth, that actually say, hey, this is different. You don't have to be this insane boss.
Yeah.
And what would it be like if that? And I thought, that would be really unique. I don't think anything like that exists.
Yeah.
And I discovered everybody does it. There's all kinds of companies out doing that way. And it's happening all over, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of companies out there that do that.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of the epiphany of when I'm going, how do I do this? And I started doing it on my own. And then after a while, I started a group of business owners getting together. And then Vistage reached out and said, hey, you want to be a coach? I said, okay.
Here we go.
Here I go again.
And at this point, you had sold the
I sold the
ServiceMaster
ServiceMaster
when the coaching started. Okay.
and finally just went solely into coaching. And
So you were under a different organization when you first started coaching.
I was myself.
Okay.
I was creating this from scratch.
And who reached out about, do you want to coach? What was it?
Vistage did.
Okay. And is that a company? Or
Yeah, that's a nationwide company that says, hey, we're a coaching company and we thought you might want to join
Gotcha.
our organization.
Got it.
So I had already started my own coaching company. And
So they're kind of
own
just
thing.
like a resource for coaches.
they actually teach coaches how to coach. They teach
Gotcha.
take coaches to a whole new level. They teach them how to market. They actually do all this stuff. There's actually a really cool Vistage group here in town. And all of that. I went through training in San Diego. I did all this stuff to figure out how to do the Vistage thing and how to be a coach. And I learned a lot. It was phenomenal, fantastic. And then I tried to sell it because that's the hard part of being a coach. You got to get clients. And my clients were 5 million and above businesses. And I couldn't do it.
Why is that, you think?
I was scared. It's total personal fear, who am I to teach somebody who's got a $5 million business anything?
Yeah.
So self-doubt, fear, anxiety, struggle. It was a 8-month of selling torture for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a selling
Right.
person. I don't sell. It's just what I do because I have to do, and it's just not who I am.
It's draining.
It just sucks life right out of me.
Yeah.
So I actually ended up having to stop and couldn't build a Vistage group. So, but then I went back to my own coaching business and go, my heart's for the startup. My heart is for those who actually are working through all of this. How do you start this thing? How do you get this thing
How to build
going?
it correctly.
How do you build this thing? How does it become something more than just my job with a really rotten boss? How does it become better than that?
Yeah.
And I'm going, that's my heart. And I ended up starting to talk to people and I just started coaching. I quit selling.
Yeah.
And that's what I do today is I meet you and I start coaching
Yep.
in the meeting.
Yep.
And we go down that path. And you've experienced it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's so fun.
Yeah.
It is so cool. Now I've got 28 to 30 businesses that I work with. I got 2 groups. The groups are a whole different dynamic.
Yeah. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
The Q school.
It's the Q.
The Q.
The Q. And it's I created it strictly because the question is the whole thing that it's all about. It's about the question. What questions do I need to ask to discover something? So what questions are I not asking? What questions are not being sent to me, given to me, that I need to know the answer to? What are the questions? And so that sort of released something in my head, and I'm going, I need to quit talking, and I need to listen, and I need to be able to ask questions and discover with curiosity what the truth is. And it's been so cool.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you what, there's this script that goes into my head on every coaching event that says, shut up. Because this voice in my head has all the answers and jumps to conclusions in a big hurry every time I walk down this path. And I have to go, no, you don't know the answer. No, you need to be curious. You need to stop. And it is a never-ending process for me.
Yeah. To stay in a position of curiosity and asking questions
Yes.
for the sake of discovery, which
For the
I
sake of
love that
discovery.
about your method, by
Yeah.
the way. I tell everybody about that. And that can be frustrating too, because I've heard people talk about that, right? And I can get frustrated when I talk to you because I'm like, just tell me, Dan, what should I do? And let's talk about that. What is the value of going through discovery instead of just being told? Because being told is consulting,
Yeah.
and discovery
Is
and
coaching.
questions is coaching. So how is that better if you arrive to the same answer? If you already know it, walk through that, like the values of that.
So you own multiple businesses.
Yep.
Let's just say you own the restoration and cleaning company.
Correct.
Okay. That restoration and cleaning company is one of those companies out there that I know a lot about. But I don't know is a whole lot about your specific restoration and cleaning company. So I ask, how many employees do you have? Tell me more about what is actually the biggest challenge you have. And I have one question that's the start question for every conversation. What's the most important thing for us to talk about today? You've heard that before.
Yep.
What's the most important thing for us to talk about today?
So in that discovery, you're also just identifying some current problems that lead into probably much bigger picture issues. I've experienced that with you, where I come in, and that's a frustrating process, which is the point of coaching. But I come in, Dan, here's the problem. And then we go through all this, and you're listening,
so,
and then
why is that a problem?
right, then there's kind of this unraveling of, we just unearthed. I had a meeting with Dan, with you, with a business partner. We went in with this one objective and left both just completely devastated in a good way of unearthing some other things that were kind of more at the core of the problem, right?
Yeah.
We were looking at like a bad fruit of something that we were producing ourselves instead of saying like, should we do this or this? The meeting turned into like, why does this keep happening? Right?
Let's figure what's deeper.
Yeah.
So there's this illustration that you can actually, 2 illustrations. One is that you can actually go water skiing. Ever done that? Mm-hmm. It's sort of fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Or you can go scuba diving.
Yeah.
Ever done that?
I have.
So what's the difference between water skiing and scuba diving?
One is above water, one's below.
Yeah. Just one's above, one's below. That's it.
Yeah.
Except for the one that goes below has to go deeper. Has to go deeper.
Yeah.
We scuba dive in the coaching world. We go deeper. So there's this rumor about me.
Oh boy. You heard it here first.
And it says that I make people cry.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't. I don't make people cry.
Those emotions already live
People
there.
cry, yes.
Yeah.
But I don't make them cry.
Yeah.
I just ask them questions. And they end up crying.
So, Dan, okay, hold on, though. Are you asking hurtful questions? Do we need to talk about this?
No.
Are you crossing some lines?
I'm not. I'm just going, what's the most important thing? And we don't stop long enough to even ask ourselves that question.
Yeah.
We don't even get to the point of going, I didn't think about the most important thing. I thought about the next thing.
Yeah.
Because the next thing is demanding and is requiring all of my thoughts, my attention, and my actions.
Yeah.
The next thing is really potentially, most likely, the wrong thing. And it's not the thing that would actually stop the treadmill and give me a chance to get off.
Yeah. Yeah. And if the most important thing, I think there's so many different goals and objectives for business owners that are not the same, which is always shocking to me. That, you talk to a business owner, I'm sure, that doesn't even want to be out of the day-to-day, but they don't want the business to ever grow to the point that they would have to be out of the day-to-day for it not to ruin their lives. And so you've got these, self-operators, right? Like the self-operators.
One-man band.
Yeah, they probably don't identify with all the systems and values you can bring until
So
they
let's say
experience
I'm-
enough heartache.
Let's say I'm an electrician.
Yeah.
Okay. I like doing electrical work. I can do this job as an electrician. I can install outlets. I can actually rewire panels. I can do all kinds of stuff as an electrician. But you want me to go in the office and actually put money in the bank and actually do this thing called accounting and bookkeeping and answer the phone and talk to people all day long? What? All I know is my boss was ruining my jobs because he couldn't keep his act together, couldn't do it right, and I could do better than he could. So that's why I started my business, because I didn't want to live under his stupidity,
Yeah.
except for the fact that now I'm living under mine.
Right. Yeah. And it's it's like the first few years, I feel like anybody that goes out on their own, the first few years are kind of magical, and then it starts setting in that, oh man, now I have 5 jobs, right?
Yeah,
I used
because
to
there's
just get to
so
do the
much
one thing.
more that
Yeah.
I have to do.
Yep.
So there is this, and Michael Gerber goes into this, but there's this idea that you can do this honeymoon stage for the first 2 years, maybe up to 5, but 2 to 5 years, the honeymoon stage, by the time 5 comes, is gone.
Yeah.
It's just gone. And it's just killing me. Whether I love baking pies or whether I love doing electrical or plumbing or anything else out there, it's gone. And after 5 to 15, it's like life sucks and this is what I have to do and I'm stuck and it's here. And then 15 to 20, it's like, it's just cynical. And that doesn't need to be. So we decide what we're building. We figure out how to build it and then build it, because a business is an entity outside of you and me.
Yep.
If that business is not an entity outside of you and me, it's a slave driver and it will consume you.
talk about your illustration that I love that you make people draw. I've seen you do it a couple times now, but you make them draw something. So you have them draw the business structure or the entity itself, right? I don't know what word you use there.
Yeah, it looks like an org chart.
An organizational chart. That's right. Yeah.
It looks like an organizational chart. It looks like a position chart to me, because what happens when I think of an organizational chart, I think of people.
Yep.
How many people do I have in my business? Well, I have one, okay? And I do it all, okay? And that's my organizational chart. Not true. The organizational chart actually has positions in it. And if I put positions in this chart, there has to be a leader. We often call him a general manager. There has to be a marketing person / salesperson. And we can put those two together. We have administration. We can put that one out there because somebody has to answer the phone and do all this stuff behind the scenes. And man, I'm so glad I married an administrator.
Hit the lottery there.
Yeah, I hit the lottery there. So administration, and there's finance, and then there's operations, and there's this training, and all of a sudden there's a whole lot of things that has to happen in the business, whether it's a one-man band or not. It all has to happen. Now, the question is where does the owner live?
So after you draw out the organizational chart
Yeah.
structure, then
Then we got to discover, where does the owner go?
yep.
And everybody wants to put it in the general manager spot, the CEO spot, whatever else. And then they go, oh, wait a minute, I'm doing the operations. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute, I'm doing the sales and marketing. Oh, wait a minute, I'm doing the admin and stuff. I'm actually sending out invoices, and yeah, I'm doing all that. So I don't know where the owner goes.
And you have them draw a box, as
And
I
we
remember,
draw a box
around the structure.
Around the structure, because this is an entity
Yeah.
that I'm creating.
Yeah.
And when I draw this box around that structure, that entity is outside of me. And when I look at that box and I have the owner, if the owner's on the outside of the box, he's an owner. If he's on the inside, he's an employee.
Yeah.
Because every time I go in the box, I become an employee.
And that's the trick question. Nick, was the last time I saw you do this. And that was the moment even he was catching on. He goes, I feel like you're about to trip me up here, because you made him draw the box around the organizational structure. And he said, okay, where are you? And then he started pointing out some stuff, but even he goes, well, I think you want me to be out here. I think I'm not supposed to be inside this machine. And I love that analogy too. You use machines as an analogy of the entity, right? Of all the working parts. And so if an owner is a necessity, like a part of this system or engine, right? There in itself is a problem.
The problem for the startup is even deeper than that. The problem for the startup, what happens to them is that they go in and they create this entity. They have to do all this work, and they go in and do all that work, which is reasonable.
Sure.
It's what needs to happen for the business to get started. And all of a sudden they get busy and they start accomplishing stuff, and they get things done. And then they get this cycle of, I go sell, and then I go produce, and then I go sell, and I go produce, and I go sell, and I produce, and it just goes around and round and round. And that all works. And then all of a sudden they get this thought, and it's an owner thought. And the owner thought says, but what if I asked you to hire somebody? Well, the general manager position in the company goes, shut up, we're busy, you're going to mess up the whole process. The general manager and the operation guy goes, we don't have enough money to hire somebody to do all this work, so the general manager needs to be doing this. He needs to get this out there and get done, because there's not enough money here. We need to keep all our money. And then we end up going, but the marketing needs to be done, and I'm sick of this process of doing the work and then trying to market and then getting more work than I can do. And I'm so tired.
Yes. Amen.
So the owner doesn't get to live in the entrepreneurial business. He only gets to start the business, launch it, imagine it's going to be wonderful, and is told to get out of it and never allowed to live again.
Yeah. And if it becomes your identity, that's a difficult part, even for myself.
Yeah.
Even if I know I should not be a cog in the system, I kind of miss the. I miss being a part
but you're
of
the
system.
podcaster guy.
Right.
You're the
I
guy
know.
that's in front of the mic. You have to do this.
I know, right?
It's all about you.
Yeah, yeah. But just that marriage to an identity. I've met a lot of people, and we actually acquired a business from someone that had been in it for 40 years, and they couldn't stop.
Yeah.
They it just if you can't live and that's where you live and it becomes part of your identity, and it's almost like a divorce in a sense. I think if it goes on long enough, everything you're saying I agree with, but if it goes on long enough, I've seen that to where they can't remove
it tears
themselves.
you up.
Yeah.
It tears you up.
Yep.
It tore me up to sell my business.
Yep.
My business.
There's something deeper there, Dan.
There's something deep there. My business.
Yeah.
It's this entity that's called Killer Growth
Yeah.
that's not yours. It's an entity that you're creating, you're building to actually make something bigger than you, different than you, that you're trying to establish in a market. That's an entity. Why would you, as the owner of that entity, actually get any money for that entity in 5 years? Why would you get paid, especially if you're not behind the mic?
Yeah.
Why should you get any money for this entity if you're not doing anything in it?
Yeah. Yep.
Why? Do you know?
It's a common debate. Why should I not?
Why should you get paid for this entity?
Because I created it and I own stock. More importantly, I would just say owning stock and a percentage of a company is different than being on the payroll. So if the company is profitable and I own it, I have a legal right to the profits. That's a very literal answer.
Do you expect that if you built this mic
Yeah.
and you created this stand and put all this together?
I did, by the way. Just everyone know I handcrafted this whole thing.
That you should get paid for that, what you create.
Yes.
In fact, you should be able to buy a camera, and you expect to pay for the camera, right?
I made the cameras too.
Yeah.
We're getting way off track now.
Wow, no, we're not. We're actually walking down this path to say, is the business an entity that you're creating? If it is an entity, you get paid because you're selling that creation.
Gotcha.
That's why you get paid.
Yeah.
That's because the creation
Lives outside of yourself.
lives outside of you.
Yeah.
That's because the creation actually generates revenue that is a part of that business. That's the one thing about a business that's different from this mic,
Yeah.
is that the business has the potential of bringing in revenue for itself.
Yep. And in the service world, that is so difficult, especially in B2B. And you're in it, right? So like your business today
Yeah.
is coaching,
Yeah.
and it doesn't exist without you. And let's talk about that now. That's a big transition.
So I own my own job.
Right.
I own my own job. Now I have an employee that I don't pay.
which is you.
which is me, and another employee that I don't pay, which is my wife.
Yeah.
That does the all the administrative work. So
Yeah.
I do all the operations. She does all the administrative work, and yet do I get paid?
As an employee, no. But as an owner, yes. Is that where we're going?
Because it's an entity outside
Gotcha.
of me. The entity makes money.
Got it.
The entity has money left over, and who gets to choose how that money is spent?
The owner.
Yes.
Got it.
So if the owner chooses how that money gets spent, he can spend it on himself and he could spend it on his business. He can spend it any way he wants to.
Yep.
Now, one of the things that's a problem with my model is I have X number of time.
Right.
X amount of time.
Yeah, there's one of you.
There's X time that can be doing this work. So every business does what?
A lot of things.
Buys time.
Gotcha.
It's all about buying time. So did you buy time for all of your businesses?
Yes.
You're buying time all the time.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah. So on that note, then and I'm genuinely just getting free coaching right now, and so are you guys. Welcome to the Killer Growth Podcast. I feel like and you're in a different position, so I bring that up to say it's also just it's a passion.
It's a choice for me.
Yeah, it's a choice. You're like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is more fun for you than a lot of things, than water skiing. Like, you love what you do.
I do.
And so I think there's a difference in that setup.
Yeah.
And with Killer Growth, for example, as a marketing agency, there's pieces of it that you tend to assume that you can't replace more than I've ever felt. Just being completely transparent, and my partners feel the same way, right? So we're going, we're taking care of people, and then you start going. It gets very relational in what we do, just like what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there's aspects of it that are really hard to replace, and then that comes into the world of if we built this mic and sold it. Just like if I could build this mic and sell it, I also in a service side, I have to productize my services. To be able to sell those without my involvement, right?
Right.
And that is so hard. That is so hard. Do you work with many B2B, business to business service providers?
So one of the challenges in my business is what happens when I decide I'm done.
Right.
I got 30 businesses that I've been working with, and now I'm all of a sudden done. Do I just walk away?
Yeah. Good luck, guys. There's going to be a lot of tears that day.
So how do I get beyond that?
That's how you should exit, by the way. It should just be a question. What are you guys all going to do when I leave?
But the point of that is that what do I do with that future?
Mm-hmm.
What do I do with that is actually a thought that has to cross my mind before I ever will deal with it.
Yeah.
Most small businesses don't even think about that thought. Mm-hmm. But then the other side of that business is that what is actually transferable and how do I get there? So guess what I have in in one of my Q groups?
A mentor, or sorry,
I have a coach.
Coach. Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
There's a coach in my Q group. I've actually got a network of coaches that I work with. And that I'm setting up time to meet with coaches.
Gotcha.
I love to even help coaches.
Yeah.
And so, to work with that and to be able to give coaches or to actually bring some of my clients to the coaching opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's always lots of different opportunities, but I just have to think and give myself the opportunity to think and say, what if we did this? What would happen if I did that? And how does it get sustained? But we have to ask the hard questions.
Yeah. And that's the situation for, I feel like, anybody that's in a very relational service environment, right? It's not, I'm not reselling, I'm not selling a policy or there's B2B service where you sell an item, right? And then you're just kind of there to answer questions.
But you're selling one thing, and all B2B sells at least one thing.
What's that?
And even anyone who produces a product or sells a service is selling one thing. What are they selling?
Value.
No. What are they selling?
I want you to tell me.
Think.
Time.
Think.
Time.
This.
So this is like a Bible school situation where the answer is always Jesus. With Dan, it's always time. This is what I'm catching on
You're
to.
selling time. So in any of your companies, what are you selling?
Time.
Yeah. You think about it.
Yeah. It takes time to make the mic. It takes
Yeah.
time to coach. It takes
time to have
build.
a podcast.
Yep.
It takes time to figure out what to sell, what to buy.
Yeah.
It takes time to go
that's
serve a
good.
client. It takes time. We're just trying to figure out the best use of the dollar and buying time.
Yeah. Yeah. If you buy an excavator instead of 20 humans and 20 shovels, or you pay 20 humans, 20 shovels, or you rent an excavator, it's probably you're not buying humans. That was, whoa, that's a rough clip. I'm going to have to cut that one out, Tyler. But yeah, that's a great.
Yeah, it's all about time.
Yeah.
So if I actually look at that, why would I hire somebody from my company and not pay them for their time? That'd be terrible.
Right. It's illegal.
It's illegal, but small business owners do it all day long.
That's true. Here's a profit share opportunity. You want some equity?
Yeah.
You want some stock?
Yeah, we're going to talk about sweat equity
Sweat
here.
equity.
Oh, yeah. There's a heck of a lot of sweat. I'm not sure
There'll be
equity
more
is a
sweat
part
than
of it.
equity, but
I'm not sure there's equity part of this at all.
yeah.
Yeah. We'll pretend there's equity here.
Yeah.
There's no real equity.
So a lot of what I'm seeing nowadays is people are working with people they know, like, trust, and when the services are provided, right? And like Jason Garraway's a great example, right? He's been your client for a long time, and he's built a powerful model where he is still a communicator, face, brand, but as far as all fulfillment goes and services provided or someone else, right?
Yeah.
He's completely removed from that. But there's also a big value of Jason building a following, people knowing and trusting his opinion because they know and trust the systems he built and the structure of time he built to sell to his clients via other people. I think with AI and everything, it just seems like a lot of this is moving towards you do have to brand yourself in a certain way and not just your company's name. And that hybrid is like a hard thing. So I'm curious, like, you'd tear me a new one. But there is a weird, like Alex Hormozy is a big one right now. Like, he essentially, his brand is synonymous. It's Acquisition, I think. Acquisition is his brand, massive, acquisition.com, but it's synonymous with his name. And like all the content, all the value they put out. So those two, more people are familiar with his name than obviously the entity, but the entity operates without him, but the lead funnel is dependent on him, right? And a lot of big players are doing that now. And so I'd love to hear, I'm not saying that's right, because I also, if something happened to that guy tomorrow, that whole lead funnel's in a bad spot, right?
Yeah.
Like that whole process of bringing in, and they do consulting like with large businesses. Like that's their whole thing is they take a company from X to some other number. Right. But you and I have had this dialogue a couple times, and then I had a guy on. And he listened to the podcast, Mr. Mixer. Mm-hmm. And right, you remember that guy, Mr. Mixer, and you're like, listen, he's still a cog in the system. Like he's the sales and marketing engine. And it doesn't work without his face. Yeah. And so depending on the type of industry, is that okay? Like in your principles of how to build a business?
It's fine. He can do that. And you can do that. Anybody can do that. It's fine. Do that if that's what you want. But what's the problem with that picture?
that can't exist without my time.
Without your time.
Right.
It requires your time and your effort to keep that going.
Yep.
So how do I get beyond that? How do I get to a new place?
Right. And that's where I would say, if you enjoy that, if there's something about that process and it's structured in a way, because I would say Zach at Mr. Mixer loves making content, and he's a very entertaining dude. So he also kind of has this influencer part of his business that I think he likes more than his business itself. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And so you got these two pieces. So if it's something you enjoy and then it benefits the entity, versus what do you really want is your original question. Like what do you really want? And if you want to be an integral part of a team and a brand, like that, I guess that's okay. But then it's just, you're not going to act as an efficient owner or the best owner you can be.
Maybe not. Maybe you might be the best owner. I mean, let's take Zach on and say, okay, Zach, you're the best person for this position.
Yeah.
You're absolutely going to rock the world with what you're doing here. And you're doing it already. You've proven that. It's amazing products. It's what you do is incredible. If somehow you got sick and had to be gone for a month, how do we keep that going?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do we keep moving forward? And if Zach changes just a little bit of his mindset and said, I'm here to actually build how this is done, and every part of this connection that I do, document, make it something that can be duplicated, then he has this opportunity to get sick, which nobody wants to do that, but in case that might happen, that would be a problem. But on the other hand, he also has this opportunity not to get sick, but to actually go take a month of vacation anywhere he wants to go. And he can enjoy the time and not worry about the fact that the sales are going to drop before he gets back.
Yep.
He doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't have to worry about the fact that there's no production being done while he's gone, because the production will be done.
Yeah.
It'll get done.
Yeah.
But all he has to do is figure out how to systematize and buy time.
Yep.
That's all there's to it.
Yep. Well, and getting more efficient, I think about that, like the podcast, just being completely transparent. The podcast is a very efficient way for us to have a lot of content, right? A lot of content that's value add. We can generate a lot of clips that are interesting from this conversation with you, versus like building out a whole, like how often do we need to film? We need to be coming up and scripting and building all these concepts that we put out there as far as content. So I think that efficiencies gained is a no-brainer. Like if you can build a content engine that's essentially what you're saying too.
It's a good investment.
Right.
To buy time.
Yes, exactly.
And you're making efficient use of time in your podcast idea, because you're producing something, the value, in a very quick and easy and efficient way. There you go.
Yeah. What is it? Is it good? I don't know. But the unscripted format obviously helps with prep. Just being curious and having conversations. Yeah. Usually something good is said.
Maybe.
Between two people. You've at least had one nugget. No, I'm kidding. You've had more than one nugget on this. But that's a really good point that everyone needs to consider. And it's such a scary, because I've thought the way I've never been in an organization where it was so dependent on different things I'm doing and my business partners are doing. Like if I lost Tyler tomorrow, that'd be a really scary deal, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it keeps me awake at night, because some of my other businesses, that wasn't necessarily the case.
So let's say Tyler decides tomorrow he's going to go his own podcast booth, and he's got so much experience.
Please
and
don't.
So
Please
good. I mean, he's the
He's like,
brains.
I'm going to find a better host.
He's the
'cause
brains
this
behind
one's
all
going
this.
nowhere.
He's the brains behind all this.
Yes.
So let's say he does that.
Yeah.
Would you help him?
Would I support him to leave me?
Yeah.
I mean, most likely I would, but I want to be happy about it. That's the bummer about really liking someone and wanting them to be successful. If I'm their bottleneck, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
If you'd potentially help him, then how would he help you?
Yeah.
In doing what you're doing and continue to sustain you? Because I'm sure he would help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if he would help you, and he actually wrote the process and procedure out for how we do a podcast, and actually created the step-by-step process of how he does what he does, and was able to have that as a training tool and give it to you, would you go, okay, we're fine. And then you might be able to even sleep at night
Right.
and not worry about Tyler,
Yeah.
because you and Tyler are on the same page.
Yeah.
And you're working together to create something that's outside of both of you. That's how we build business.
That's so healthy to even have a relationship or partnership, or just the wherewithal to say, like, I'm going to go ahead and just build this now because this could happen. And then being able to have that conversation, I think, creates another level of trust, even probably with your key. I even think of key people, Dan. Like, I've had some employees that were, if I lost those employees, I was going to be in trouble. Well, then how do you have a conversation with your employee to say, hey, there's a lot of things you do that I don't know that are going great, that we need to understand what you do in case we don't have you, but you're not going anywhere. Like, we're not getting rid of you. It's kind of a delicate conversation of like when you trust someone so much to build stuff.
I'm the star performer in one of your businesses.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this great work.
We're hiring if you're looking for a spot.
Come to me and say, hey, I need you to tell me what you do here because this is an important position. How do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I mean,
you do know
with a lot of like, how do you have that conversation without them feeling threatened, and also without them leveraging what they know to secure their spot?
You know the answer.
Pay them for their time.
This is an entity that is outside of both of us.
Yes.
It is not just you and it is not just me. We need to make this to where we can grow this, and it only grows by us knowing what to do and how to do it and how to use our time well.
Because if they are in that position, they probably care a lot about the business and its success and its growth, because they grow too. So it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I mean, who doesn't want to have a legacy in a business?
Yeah. For sure.
Who doesn't want to be able to say, I actually helped build that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. What's the success rate that you've seen now coaching this long? I'm curious on someone that's obviously an operator, so you've got owner, GMs, department heads, all that organizational structure. When someone comes in and they truly are an electrician, what's the success rate of a true operator? Not saying they couldn't do the other parts, and maybe they have it in them, they just didn't know yet. But what have you seen where they can actually move into a position of an owner?
So I'm going to throw Jason under the bus.
Great,
but Jason, when I had a first conversation with him,
Jason Garraway, 316 Health, was on the podcast, so you can go check him out for context.
He was in the first point at which I had a conversation with him. He told me there's nobody that can do what I can do. Nobody can do what I can do. I am a unique person, and this is not able to be done. It is not going to happen. And over time, he figured out that, now we had multiple conversations about how to get there. We had multiple conversations about how to get my elephant to let go of the situation and to be able to go, that's just my elephant, my emotions. That's what that is. That's not true. It's understanding the lies we tell ourselves is an incredible thing. So, yeah, he's one of those. I've had companies ever from plumbing to signs to whatever out there in a company who has said, I have to do all this, and have discovered that they don't.
Yeah.
So I've had other companies that have come and said, I have this skill and this ability to do this work. And I said, well, do you want to build a business? They said yes. And then they discovered that building the business was another kind of work that they didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So they shut it down and went back to doing the work they wanted to do.
Yeah.
They weren't into building a business. So I've had both.
Yeah.
And it just depends on the individual who's willing to actually take on the responsibility and the challenge to build this entity that's not them. And the worst thing is to be somebody who wants to own just the skill of doing the work I do, and that's it, and forcing them to stay in a business because they're trapped.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And I think it's a success for them to get out of the business as much as it is for the next person to build the business.
Yeah, that's really good. So let's talk about Circle Consulting. The next couple years, you talk about? You're already thinking through transitions, making sure there's other people, more so to just take care of your people. Are you wanting to grow more than where you're at? You've got 30 people. That seems like a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine you having to deal with, 3 of me alone. But
there's only one of you.
Yeah. Hey, that's not true. Hold on. Don't be a hypocrite here.
No, not a hypocrite. I mean,
Did you hear that, Jason? I am one of a kind. You're not.
Oh, no, I didn't say that. I think Jason's one of a kind too.
Yes, very much so.
And that's the world that we live in.
Yeah.
Is this one of a kind world that we're all one of a kind.
Yes.
And even that daughter who was born in your family and has a lot of your characteristics is one of a kind. Mm-hmm. So that one of a kind person is that person that we actually learn to know and enjoy.
What can you handle 50 people with the?
I would have to
Q groups,
I'd have to change my model quite a bit.
Yeah.
I would love to grow some more. I'm not sure how much. Now, there's a part of me that goes, I think 2 groups is big enough.
Sure.
But on the other hand, 30 businesses, I still want to speak truth into people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have an end.
Yeah.
Maybe, I am getting to a point in life where I want to slow down a bit.
Yeah.
But then there's this part of me that still imagines I'm 30.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you. I so appreciate that about you, and you answered the question exactly how I thought you would. Because I know we're in the same B&I group together now, and without a doubt, you genuinely are excited to help people. Yeah. And that is so, talk about only being one of someone. That is so hard to find. And you're in such a cool spot, I feel like, in your career right now, where you're not hurting, worrying about getting numbers. You're worrying about helping each person.
Yeah.
And that's evident based on your testimonials and everybody that's coming through. And so don't lose that. We all benefit a lot from that. And, it's like your mission. I think some people they get something bigger than themselves, and they get something bigger than an entity too, right? That's, in the grand scheme of things, even the businesses we're building are pretty small, but people are everything. And you've created a model that makes the individual everything. And then you're essentially giving them identity back. You're untangling, pulling apart the identity they think they have inside this entity and allowing them to step away from it and
Pulling it apart
identify
is
who
really hard to.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
where the tears come.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, that's a, I can't think of a better word. That's a ministry in itself. Just, I mean, people, we struggle with who we are, self-identity, and we get stuck in our own routines and close-minded views of how this could work. And you're not like overly optimistic or glass half full. You're not making empty promises by any means. You're pretty straight up like, this is going to suck for a while. Like, this is going to be hard.
But,
Right. Yeah. But for a season, there's no such thing as overnight on anything. Right. I mean, we deal with that in the marketing world, right? I wish I could just flip a switch and generate way too much business for someone, but it doesn't work that way. It takes time and effort.
I'm not sure that would be good.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah. They need to meet with you and build everything out first, and then we can help them.
Not necessarily do it all first. It actually works together.
Yeah.
We grow together. We grow as an entity. It's that creation of that business that actually can adapt and change and grow.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it. Mm-hmm. You've seen it in your personal life.
Yep.
We go down a path and we think this is the right way, and we've had to pivot, and then the next thing we know, we've got to figure out how I'm in the way and what am I doing wrong to cause this to be painful.
Yeah.
And facing that part of it is really hard.
Yeah.
What am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? What am I best at?
Yeah. And what drains me that I need to pay to get that time back, into what doesn't drain me.
Yeah.
That's my biggest takeaway from this whole thing, Dan, is time.
Yeah.
Everything is time. I love that.
It's time.
I would love to have you back on again in the future if you come back and go maybe a little more specific, like dial in on a topic. I think that'd be really fun.
We could do that.
Dial in on some topics that could be some good value add to our business owner listeners. But yeah,
we might even be able to do a coaching session.
Yeah. I'm willing to do a public one. You're already dabbling into it, so I'm already feeling a little vulnerable now. Everyone's going to hear me not be able to answer your questions, but by no means do I pretend to be a business expert. And this is that would be fun. We could do a live one. We could even have another person on.
Oh yeah,
and just observe. I could just hold the tissues when you make them cry. Just here you go.
Yeah. So I can't stop without mentioning Susan Scott and Fierce Conversations, because that is a really powerful book about how to have a fierce conversation. Have you read that?
No, I have not.
Susan Scott's got a really powerful book, Fierce Conversations. Talks about the conversations we don't have. Talks about the power of actually scuba diving or water skiing, and how do we scuba dive. Talks about the idea of what it means to be looking at a beach ball. And the beach ball concept is a powerful concept. Talks about the idea of the tree that's out there that we go, this is a decision tree, a tree that says you can make these decisions, but not these decisions. You can make leaf decisions, not trunk decisions. You cannot ever make a root decision, but you can go make these decisions, and don't involve me in any of those leaf decisions. So there's just a lot of really cool tools. So being a book guy, that's one of the many books that I listen to.
Let's give our listeners one more. What's one other book you'd recommend?
If you're in a small business, The Highest Calling can be really impactful. In The Highest Calling, and all these books have a lot, and The Highest Calling is definitely this, but it's an allegory.
Okay.
Now, the theology of the highest calling is a little weak, but otherwise, the highest calling idea is really powerful.
Cool.
And of course, the E-Myth.
Yeah.
The E-Myth has been been one of those stalwart books over the years, and the E-Myth is a powerful book out there.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
and any Patrick Lenciani's books. I mean, now you got me going.
I know. That's why I know some people that listen that will be reading whatever you say. I have a feeling. So,
Yeah.
but no, I love the idea. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'd love to have you back. I'll think of some topics or concepts we could do again together. It'd be a lot of fun. So,
Okay.
appreciate you. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate you.